Okay guys, what's going on? This is the only place I can record a video because it's been raining all day and it's dark and I'm literally hanging out the window, but we're going to get this done either way. So today I'm going to show you inside my ad account. I'm going to document the process of trying to figure out, what ads are working, why they're working, why they're not working, if the click-through rates are good, if the conversion on the funnels are good, all that kind of stuff, right? The reason why I want to show you this is first and foremost so I can document it, put it out there on YouTube, and maybe it will help a few of you. I'm not an ad expert, but I have been doing this for a little while now, so maybe my thought process will help some of you out. Or if I suck at doing this, maybe someone watching this will be able to give me some advice as well. So that's obviously a bonus, but that's the main reason. And then obviously, of course, I want to get these ads converting. So right now, they've been running for about 6 weeks, maybe a little bit longer than that. And I want to get both sets of ads converting, of course, the high ticket one, the low ticket one. And so by going through the stats and having a look at, what's working and what isn't, I can correct issues, hopefully fix things now, and then in a few weeks time, or maybe in a couple of days, or even a couple of hours, we'll get them converting. And then I can make a video showing you guys what works and what didn't. All right. So documenting it, helping you guys learn from me, and maybe just putting it out there to see if I can get some advice in case something just goes past my own head, right? Because I'm not the smartest person in the world. I have been running ads for a while now, but I'm not an ads expert. I know enough to get things going, but I'm not someone that thinks he knows everything. So if you can give me any advice, or if you notice anything that I don't notice, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, let's just jump straight into the computer and I'll just go through everything for you. So guys, I'm going to show you the two ad campaigns. One is to a high ticket offer and the other is to a low ticket. I have recorded this twice already now where I go into the ads manager and everything, but the problem with doing that for some reason is that Loom doesn't like it. So you're actually going to lose my face, and we like my face, so I'm going to try and keep it on the screen. But luckily I've put all the stats from the ad manager, or Facebook ads manager, into a spreadsheet here. So you're going to get kind of a boring view of the numbers. I know you probably want to see the ads themselves and the stats, but I'll just tell you now in case you want to click off. Either way, I'm going to show you the stats just from on the spreadsheet. Okay, so we've got two offers, price guide, which is you come here from an ad or from YouTube videos or whatever. You enter your email and we try and sell you on the back end. We're transparent about the pricing. Previous offers I've had, I've just kept the pricing a secret until someone's on the phone with me. I'm trying to move away from phone sales if possible, even though this is quite a high ticket offer. So the idea is to have transparency when it comes to the prices so people can download the price guide and then we can sell them on the back end. And then the other offer, this takes you to a course. And if you like what you learn, you can then buy access to myself where I give you more attention and more help, and buy access to the whole course. Okay. So that's the idea between these two. This is low ticket. This is the high ticket. Now my process on trying to determine what is wrong and what isn't just comes down to what is actually happening on the ground. So right now we're getting emails, we're getting leads, but there's a few problems with the stats, which I'll go through, and we're not getting any conversions. So the way I looked at this is to see if the landing page itself is converting. I just took all of the stats from the 11th of October, put them into the spreadsheet, and then I averaged it out at the bottom. Now, if you look at this closely, there is a few random anomalies here, which I'll just highlight, which doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not sure why that is what is shown to me in ClickFunnels, but that is what it is. So I've adjusted for those anomalies. And I asked ChatGPT to do that. I just sent a screenshot of these stats and said, hey, there's a few problems here. Can you just adjust it? Like, mathematical equation. And so what it did was it gave me the averages, and the conversion rate was about 51%. Okay, if you're a mathematician, you could probably do this yourself. But if you take this as a screenshot, give it to ChatGPT, I think it's about 51%. That's what it showed me. So I'm assuming the conversion rate is what it's telling me, in which case it's a pretty good conversion rate. 50% is excellent, in my opinion. And from my research, 20 to 30% is the average. So I can see quite clearly that the conversion rate's good and there's no problem with the landing page itself. I can continue to keep sending people here, and all I really need to do is improve either the audience or something to do with the ads. So what I did was a very similar thing. I put all the information here into a spreadsheet, and I just look at the average spend, the cost per result, how many impressions, the cost per impression. Let's move my face over here so you can see. And what I discovered was that the click-through rate is 3.87, which is pretty good, but it could be better. But it's not terrible, so I'm not unhappy with that. What I didn't like was the cost per click and the cost per result. In this situation, the cost per result is just an email. And although I'm looking for a certain type of person to opt in for this, it's still going to quite a broad audience. So I would expect the cost per result to be lower because we can scale this offer horizontally. And as well as horizontally, we can go vertically, but the ads are typically going to anyone who's in the sales and marketing role. So focus on those roles, we can scale across different industries. So I would have expected this to be lower. So that's where I see the major red flags in this campaign. Some people might look at this and say, well, you're not spending enough money. Probably is the case. But based on the amount that we're spending, we still got to try and get the stats right. And so once the stats are looking good, then I can invest more money into the ads. That's the way I see it. If you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But either way, what I did once I put this information into the spreadsheet was take a screenshot of it, paste it into ChatGPT, and ask for some recommendations. Now, just before I looked at the recommendations, I actually tried to figure it out myself. And so what I can see here is that the landing page conversion rate is good, 59 or 51% without these anomalies. Cost per result, bad. So this is cost per email. It's not cost per book call or cost per sale. It's cost per email, which I think is really bad. Cost per impressions is okay. And I just say it's okay because my VA is touching pretty much the same amount of people, although it could be lower, right? $71 is still pretty high in my opinion for quite a broad offer that can go across industries. And at first glance, I was unsure if the cost per click or the click-through rate is good or bad. You know, I could look at it and I can say, well, it's not too bad, but it could be lower. And so I asked ChatGPT for advice. Again, I literally just took a screenshot of these stats and asked ChatGPT. The things you can do with ChatGPT now is crazy. Asked it for some advice and recommendations. And what ChatGPT told me is that the cost per click is high, which was expected. And the click-through rate is good because most industries are 2 to 5% in a B2B. Now, I still want to try and get higher, but based on the recommendations, I should try and focus more on the cost per result and the cost per click. And these were the recommendations that ChatGPT gave me, which is the CTR is good, but cost per click, cost per result could be lowered. And in order to do that, I need to tweak targeting and copy or the visuals to test for improvements. CPM could also be lowered. Now, I have a theory about the CPM. I think it's because of the time of year. It's November 5th right now. We've got Black Friday coming up. There's also the US election. So it could be just down to the time of year. So I'm not going to worry too much about CPM. It's probably uncontrollable right now. Frequency, not too bothered, but they wanted to mention frequency. But the thing I noticed was that you could try expanding or refining the audience for the CPM. Now, I just wanted to clarify this with ChatGPT because sometimes ChatGPT will give you advice that goes against your own instinct. So I clarified it and ChatGPT reversed its original recommendation, which is to broaden the audience, and instead said about potentially narrowing it based on the landing page results. Because the conversion rate is so high, ChatGPT reckons that if I was to narrow the audience, I'd probably get better results, which might be the case. We're not sure yet. And so it's given me a few recommendations based on the stats that I fed it. So changes to the audience, changes to the ad copy and the creative, changes to the visuals. Now, in my opinion, it's just much easier for me to change the visuals and then the copy and then the audience. That might sound a bit counterintuitive, but the way I see it is that if I've got quite a broad audience already and my conversion rate on the landing page is good, it's probably just more about having a better, click-through rate, more people actually seeing the ads, more impressions, lowering it, and getting more of the right audience to this page. But again, I could be wrong. So if you've got any better advice, let me know in the comments below. The idea of this is really just to document my thought process. Audience targeting is quite easy to do on Facebook, but you've still got to test lots of different ad sets. That's my opinion. So once I did that, I did the same thing with the low ticket offer, and I'll go through this much quicker. We've got 61% conversion rate on the low ticket offer, but there's much more anomalies in here, right? So if I look through here, we've got a red one, another red one. I think there's 2 or 3 more that I can see. Yeah, 1, 2. Okay, so there's a few more anomalies here. And so it skews the data a little bit. So ChatGPT just gave me another conversion rate, 27.59%, which is much less than the high ticket offer, which is a big problem because the lower ticket is B2B/B2C. Pretty much anyone can pick this up. It's a much wider audience. Pretty much anyone wants to win deals on LinkedIn, in my opinion. So this should be much better stats. So as you can see, across the board, it's worse than what I was just showing you for the high ticket. Cost per result is higher, click-through rate is lower, cost per click is higher, and the CPM is even higher. So the first thing that I want to do before I make any changes to the landing page itself, because the landing page is based on the high ticket offer anyway. So they're kind of similar. They go hand in hand. In my opinion, the first thing I need to fix is the ads. And so just like before, I took a screenshot of all of this, gave it to ChatGPT, asked for some recommendations. And just before I did that, I kind of came up with my own conclusions, which was the landing pages are okay. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just okay. Cost per click, there's a lot of variations in the cost per click. So it's quite tough because of the variables in these stats, but it's on the high side for a B2B/B2C offer. The click-through rate, really low, really bad. So can do a lot better with the click-through rate. And the cost per impression is super high, especially with an offer like this. I would have imagined it would be a lot lower because, again, almost anyone wants to land deals on LinkedIn if they're in sales and marketing or they're in a business. Obviously, we only go for certain industries and certain type of people, but it should at least get more click-throughs to the landing page itself. And so I asked ChatGPT for recommendations. It recommended brand new visuals in the ads, new headlines, and new copy. Okay, so the actions I took were just to change the images and the headlines for now, because it's just a lot easier to change the headlines and the images first to try and get attention. And then if I still find that there's problems, I'll then change the copy, and I'll do that separately and slowly because the ads all have different copy and things like that. So the way I see it is that if we just change the ads, which I have already done, and like I said, I can't show you into the Facebook Business Manager because it's going to ruin Loom for some reason. But the way I see it is that if I just change the visuals on the images themselves, we'll refresh this page based on some of the images. As you can see, this is one of the images, and the one before was the one I was using that was also one of the better performers. I've got a mix of both AI and real life images, which means that I can test between the two and really figure out if it's the images, if it's the headlines, if it's the copy. If after a few weeks, after making these changes, I don't see much difference in the results, then I'll have to look at different angles and try and figure out and work with ChatGPT, maybe even get some outside advice. But that's how ads really work. You're never going to get it straight away. You have to test it. You've got to be a bit of a scientist and just figure out with time and a little bit of wasted ad spend. But in saying that, guys, if you have any advice, let me know in the comments below. If you've got any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. Love to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, see you in the next one.